Hola. Judy, you are in a car?
Yep. I'm with my dad at work today, so
that's.
But I still managed to come to class.
That's the actual William Burkholder?
Yes. Yes. That's.
Hi, everyone.
Hola. Bueno. It's quite a few already, so muy bien. How are you today? Good? Muy bien. We'll wait a couple of more minutes to see if anybody else is joining us today. Okay? And then we'll start. Anything anyone wants to ask? Any questions regarding anything? No?
Can we have an extra day for essays?
What do you mean an extra day?
Just an extension.
I'm not sure we can do that.
Okay.
Because we need to finish all of us the same day and start grading and
Ew.
so how many of us is it now?
Okay.
16. I'll ask just in case, okay?
Okay. Thought I'd ask. Thanks.
It's worth a try.
Right, exactly.
Almost. Atana is not coming. Cyrisa, I'm not sure if she's coming. I think everybody's here now. See? Okay, so I want to share a couple of things with you first, and then we can start with the presentations. So on our CLM virtual page, I added 2 new activities. I don't know if you already saw them. The first one is a final goodbye activity so that we can all add and say our final goodbyes to everyone. Since we cannot do it in person, I thought it would be nice to just say goodbye to your class peers. I saw yours already, Dylan. Muchas gracias. And also I added an extra section where I wanted to ask you about your feedback. So let me show you. Okay, this page is something I created for all of my classes. It's in English because even though some of my classes are in Spanish, my idea is not to test your level of Spanish, but I want your feedback, your opinion about the class, this and any other class if you want to. So things you can think of that maybe can help me, like things I like the most or things that I didn't like so much, things that I could have done differently, or some resources that I didn't use and maybe that could have been useful, and some other elements that you think that could be helpful. So anything you can think of is very welcome, and it's there for you until the end of the course as well. Okay. Another important thing is that I decided it would be maybe better if I were online during your exam. So I'm going to set up a time where you can connect through Zoom, same way. And it's the same link, same password, same everything. That way, in case you have something, it's not mandatory, of course, that you need to add to the Zoom conference. But if you want to ask me something in person, I thought it would be nicer than you just writing to me an email, then I getting it or not getting it, then answering you back. So I thought it would be more effective this way. So I'll set up, as I said, a time, and if you need anything, just connect via Zoom and I can help you with it, okay? What else? I could see, I don't generally see like all the presentations in detail because I want you to like surprise me at least a little bit during your presentation time. But pretty much they all look very, very good, very high quality and what I was expecting. And I wasn't sure if I would get the same results since we are not in class and I had not prepared my classes for this online mode. But I'm really, really happy with the result. I don't know if you enjoyed working with them or if you learned more by working in this type of projects, but that was the idea. And also, I wanted to ask you, do you mind if I share some of your presentations? No? Perfect. And also, I think now we are all here in case anybody has to leave or anything. I guess it's a good moment for our class picture. Did you all get nicely done? And Alexis, we don't see you. Not Lexi. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry. I had to run up and get my headphones.
Don't worry, don't worry. By the way, Lexi, I was like cracking my head up, like, who the hell is Alexandra? Like, I haven't seen her the whole semester. And then I was like, oh my God. Anyway, sorry. As soon as Alexis is here, perfect. So,
Sorry.
everybody with a nice face for the class photo. ¿Listos? 1, 2, 3. One more, just in case. Muy bien. So anybody that wants to or has to be first, prefers to be first,
Can I go first?
is brave enough to be first. Also important, I gave you permission to share screen. So if you prefer to share your own project, you can move around through it more easily, or I have it already. I can do it myself as well, whatever you prefer, okay? So Jacqueline, are you going to share or do you want me to?
Yes, I can share my screen.
Perfecto.
Okay, perfect. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, hi guys, my name's Jacqueline. And for my project, what I did was I chose the artist
for everything, and I chose the artist I would like to have coffee with. And the artist I chose today was Oscar Claude Monet. And right here, like as you can see, it's a self-portrait that he drew of himself. And I'm going to talk to you guys today about why I would choose Oscar Claude Monet. Ooh, I don't know how to. Okay, so for today's agenda, I have introduction, impressionism, quote, and then famous paintings by him. So a little bit about Oscar Monet is that he did this famous painting right here that you guys can see, which is the sunrise. He was born on November 14th in France. Monet was kind of like a unique character, and that's partly why I chose him, because he didn't really like to be confined into a classroom. He didn't think like you had to be taught in a classroom to learn art or understand art. And he suffered greatly because he lost his mom at a young age. And then after that, it kind of like really like redefined his art career. And then he moved to Paris to pursue art more seriously, because his mother was like his muse for everything. And his mom like always pressure him to like pursue art and everything, but his dad was more like, oh, like art's not really like a real career, like you should do business, like something more serious. And so when he lost his mom, that's really what made him be like, oh, like I need to take art seriously because this is what I'm passionate about. So I chose Monet because one of my favorite styles of art is Impressionism. And right here, I like kind of chose one of his most famous paintings too. Is the Lady with the Parasol. And that's after his first wife. So his first wife was like one of his most like big muse as well. So as you can see, like a lot of lady figures like play a part in his life. And Impressionism, it was really like a 19th century art movement. It kind of broke away from like traditional art painting, and like the point of Impressionism is it captures like images without like detecting color fully. So there's not like, so far in art history, we kind of learn art as with like bold colors and like sharp lines and lots of detail. But with Impressionism, it's exactly like the opposite of that, or the contrast. So you really see like you kind of see like a blurry image of it, or like a blurred picture. And that's what Monet was really trying to do. And also makes like partly a reason why like I would be interested to talk to him to see. And next we have like a quote by Monet, and it's probably my favorite quote. It's like, people discuss my art to pretend to understand as if it was necessary to understand, when it's necessarily simple to love. And behind here we have like the water lilies, which is I love the style. And I think what Monet is trying to say here is that we analyze art like in great depth, but sometimes it's like simply for like pleasure or for us to like enjoy art. Next we have like famous paintings by Monet. This is also one I really like, which is like the sunflowers, and it's just like his style paintings. Monet also liked to do a lot of like landscapes, which is like right here we see like this is his interpretation of like Venice, and right here we have more water lilies, which is really famous. So a little bit of what he did was like explore the harmonies between like contrast of color and light, and that's like what he really tried to do, which is like build small strokes and like make them into like broader views of color. And then next I had, oh, will you have coffee with Renee? And that's really the reason why I chose to have coffee with Renee, because I really enjoy his artwork and his style. Thank you.
Muy bien.
Yes. I think we're good now. Okay, I don't know how to stop sharing.
It's at the top.
Oh, got you.
Muy bien. Anyone wants to go next, or should I do my order, or? Vale. Venga. So let's see who has their presentation. I think that's Anna's. It's Anna and
That was me.
Atana and Katya. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Do you want to share, or do you want me to share?
could we do, or it could honestly be either.
Anna,
Yeah.
maybe should we do it just so that we can like go through it?
Yeah, I feel like we should.
Or I guess it doesn't matter.
Vale. If you want to share your own presentation, just make sure that you have it like handy.
Yeah, I did.
Muy bien.
But yeah, should we say a little something?
Yeah, while she's pulling it up, I guess we for our prompt we had like an artistic rendition of Granada. And when we were thinking of how to do this, and especially how to do it in an interactive way for you guys, we were kind of thinking about how some of our favorite artists connected to their audience, and tried to include symbolism and imagery that related to the observer or the people looking like at their painting. Sorry. And so we tried to include like maybe experiences or pictures or places that resonate with all of you and hopefully remind you guys of all of our experience in Granada. Yeah, so we tried to sort of recreate an interactive a day in Granada experience that's kind of in a quiz form. And we figured we could all take it together, kind of bring back the memories. So, yeah.
Okay, we can all just decide together like which one we want to do. So saying that. Okay, where do we start our day? We could put it in the chat maybe.
Yeah, if anyone wants to like type an answer or pick an answer in the chat, there are different variations in all of the questions. So like each choice leads you to like a different like path.
I actually, Katya, I can't see the chat.
Oh, here.
Will you just tell me?
Someone said, oh, churros. It looks like we have a couple for breakfast churros.
Okay, breakfast churros. Okay, starting the day with a churro and chocolate was a fantastic call. What's next? And here we have some beautiful architecture.
It looks like there's a couple of C's, a hike maybe. Okay,
Okay.
a hike. It looks like B, go to host family for a quick lunch and siesta.
All right.
Looks like we've got lots of A's and C's.
Ooh,
Oh, vino, someone said. So maybe C?
let's see. Okay.
Yeah. It looks like A is winning in the chat. Or
So now we have a little video.
all right, let's see. Looks like tapas. B is probably, yeah. All right, it looks like a couple people say A. It looks like probably A, I think. The homemade quesadilla. All right, people. The night is young. Where are we going? All right, it looks like the Choop is winning.
I love that.
I think everyone's agreeing shawarma is a must.
Shawarma is a must. And the day in Granada. Okay. It's just a little
Little reminder for you guys.
Okay. So that was it. If we want, we can take it a second time, and it has like little variations of that. But when we were thinking of we did the one that was like create an artistic rendition of a day in Granada, and at first we were gonna do like a picture or some sort of collage, but we wanted to make it interactive and really representative of everyone's experience, which is why we made a quiz so that we could all kind of go through it together. And yeah.
Muy bien. Nice cut, Brianna.
Thank you.
Bueno, anyone wants to go next? So I continue. I think it's Felicia.
Yeah, I mean, might as well go since I'm up next.
Okay. Do
I'll
you want
share
to
my screen.
Vale.
Yeah. Is it right? Can you see all my stuff now? Okay. Can you see everything, everybody? Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me put a timer, or at least see my time. So my project was to create an ideal house, either working through elements of art or through actual artwork. So for me, I always take the literal approach. So I just made a house. And so the way that the house is designed, it's just organized according to room. And I only have a few rooms, otherwise this would take like hours. But just a good FYI, for me, this house really demonstrates my love for deranged, distorted, fantastical, superstitious, and spiritual objects. You've been warned. This is my dining room that I would have. So for me, it was really to capture the true spirit of Francisco de Goya's Saturn Devouring His Sun. I think it's a really beautiful artwork that conveys a lot of emotion. And I think it is to be where it originally was created. So that's why I put it there. And I also paired it with a more modern artist by Dante Gabriel Rossetti. which is the portrait of the woman holding the pomegranate, which is Persephone. And so for me, I would have the two paintings kind of in conversation with one another, just showing her really disturbed by somebody eating her own son in a dining room. And then so with that, I also just paired Dali's still life moving fast, just to also kind of give a little bit more of a surreal, whimsical place, and that I'm not really actually eating children. My living room would probably be the most cheerful of all my rooms. That's just how it is. I think for people when they first come into Jason inviting, the work that I did was recreate that painting, was Mae West face. And so with this one, instead, I took a little bit more of a contemporary approach and still used the sofa of Dali's Mae West sofa, but paired it with a pop artist from the 1970s. By Tom Wisselman, which is the still life up at the top, and that's what you're like, and that's a nude woman, just all the objects of what a woman would have in their purse, and just kind of laying it out bare and naked for everyone to see. And then I paired that out with the aphrodisiac telephone. So originally I had wanted this to be a neutral space, but once I started looking at all the connotations, it kind of looked more like a sexual tension, which is kind of weird, but it is what it is, and it's colorful, so it makes me happy. For me, the bedroom is a very private space, so this kind of allows me to show more of my aesthetic taste, which you can see what it is now. So these are works by Francisco de Goya. And so the first one on the left is the Devil's Lamp, then it goes to the Witch's Sabbath, and then to the Witch's Flight. And these paintings were created during the Panic of the 1600s when people were being accused of witchcraft. So there were a lot of witch trials. And so this is recalling a time when medicinal practices and cultural differences were markers of witchcraft. And for me, these paintings really serve as a silent reminder of injustices dealt to women and practitioners of traditional ecological knowledge. And so this is also just a way to mark our perseverance that even though we were demonized, we are still here. And then going into a closet, I would have an amazing, fabulous, huge closet where I could actually have some amazing paintings. So the first on the left, do Ignitos by Velázquez, Las Meninas, and The Fable of Arachne, or The Spinners. I would also pair it in between with a contemporary gown created by a contemporary Chinese artist by the name of Guo Bei. And for this, I would also recreate the gowns in the paintings because they're absolutely beautiful, along with the tapestry in the background. And that would also be in the closet. And for this one, this is important to have for me because one, it's just clothing, but also from an Indigenous perspective, clothing is so much more than style. It's also a marker of cultural continuity. And so it transfers ideas and our beliefs into an outward way that people can easily see and digest. And so for me, having that shift from persecution for our beliefs and then into a celebration of our beliefs within the bedroom to the closet, it just makes it a little bit easier for me to and lastly, I have my garden. And I decided I would recreate the Court of the Lions, and I would have the original lion fountain operational and working. And since we talked about it in class that there possibly was a drop-down garden underneath the court, I would recreate a garden that drops down from it, but using a contemporary artist by the name of Chihuly, who blows these amazing glass sculptures. And I would just combine all of these to create more of a surreal landscape whenever you walk out into the house. And so hopefully something that would inspire Dali himself. And that's my home.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Muy bien. Perfecto. I think we have like 8 minutes, and I think I have Danielle's video. Vale. Can I share it now, Danielle?
It might be easier if you share it on your screen,
Vale.
because if you
Perfecto.
have it up.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Hey guys, Danielle here. I just wanted to talk to you guys about the project that I selected today. I chose the prompt that was called Different Versions, where I was able to create a different version of a painting that really inspires me or that I really connect to. And today I chose the painting by Salvador Dali, and it's called Dream Caused by the Flight of a Bee Around a Pomegranate a Second Before Awakening. And this painting is really, really important to me. It's my favorite painting of all time. And I was really excited to be able to create my own version of this painting. And going into it, I was like super excited, but then I started looking at it and I was like, wow, this is kind of a lot to do. So I was so determined to do it. So I decided to break it up into sections, and I created every piece separately, and I knew it wasn't going to be nearly like Dali's painting, obviously, so I tried to make it unique to me. So this is Dali's original version, and then I wanted to show you guys my version. As you can see, I didn't do everything completely to scale. Again, I was just trying to make it my own, but I got really excited about drawing the pomegranates, and I drew the pomegranate and the bee a little bit bigger because that's my favorite part of the painting. So again, I was excited to do that. Thank you guys for listening and paying attention, and I'm sad that we're not still in Granada together.
Muy bien.
And then just a little bit more background about the painting. Sorry, guys. Gala was obviously the main focus of the painting. That was the woman who was laying down. And this painting was a part of a series where Dali really focused on Freud's text on interpretations of dreams. And he also called these hand-painted dream photographs. And this also interpreted with another idea of his. It's called paranoiac critical method. So like you can see this image and interpret it like many different ways. And I didn't know this, but the painting was done while he was living in the United States, which I thought was really interesting. And just one more thing, the elephant in the background is seen a lot more times throughout Dali's paintings.
Muy bien. I was thinking right now, Judy, do you have any rush to present? Do you want to go next or something? Or you're fine?
That would be great if I could go soon.
Vale. So we're going to leave this session because we only have like 4 minutes and it's going to be interrupted. So we'll close this one and join again using the same link as usual, okay?
Okay.
Vale. So while the rest are coming, I'm going to share your presentation next, okay, Judy? Can you hear me? Hola, chicos. Can you hear me?
Heather, I like your hair.
I didn't realize how much I miss Granada until we went through Day of Life of Granada, and it just made me so sad.
Making the presentation was really hard. We were, I can't hear you.
Chicos, ¿podéis escucharme o no? No.
Sí.
No.
¿Ahora qué?
¿Ahora? Okay.
Oh.
I'm here. Just 1 second.
Oké, geen Spider-Man.
Ja!
Nee.
Ja! Ja!
Jammer.
Ja!
Jammer.
Sorry, I changed the location to see if I have better reception here. Is it better now?
Yeah, I think it's better.
Vale, bien. I was... Did Judy left? She was supposedly to go next. Okay. Anyone wants to go next?
I could.
I can go.
Dylan? Yeah? Who said I can go?
I can.
Okay.
If you
Sorry. 1 second. Okay. Do you want to share anything or?
Can you put the I sent you the document with the image on it. I have the thing with me. My when I took a picture of it, it kind of sucked because I have an Android, but
Yeah.
I'll do it with both.
Vale. So this one?
Yeah, so for my presentation, I decided to do the make the painting thing with like personal meaning and all that jazz. So I decided to paint a landscape of it's in Massachusetts. It's called Gooseberry. It's Gooseberry Island. It's set. It's like South Shore, but everybody's from different parts, so they don't really know exactly where it is. But the reference photo I used was taken in like early September, before like a storm was coming through off the coast. And I'll just show you the thing I have with I painted it. Like you can see it. It might be a little better, but uh, you know, I don't know. So this is I focus a lot on themes of like the beauty of nature and like the passage of time and stuff like that. So I kind of use like more like loose brush strokes to kind of give the illusion like of kind of impressionism, especially in the foreground. I used more dramatic colors and value changes. I added there's a lot of symbolism inside the painting. For example, you can see there's like a foundation on the right side of the painting, and that was an old foundation that got taken out in Hurricane Carol in 1956. So that's just a representation about how like nothing really lasts in anything. The two people that I added sitting on the rock like represent like people just enjoying like time in the moment. And then I have the waves crashing and eroding the beach constantly over decades and decades. Um, I the incoming clouds represent like another storm coming in, and it's going to change the beach again. And like it's like a moment that won't like last. You know, you have to take a picture or paint it to like really see what happens in that moment. Um, in the one I added a few adjustments to the one that I painted. This one doesn't have a few of the adjustments because my camera on my phone was not really cooperating. But I added like I adjusted some of the color in the foreground to try to make the rocks a little more sharp. But and I also added a clock, like because the Salvador Dali inspired me to add a clock representing like the passage of time, just like the waves are crashing and like the storm's coming in. What else? Yeah. I used acrylic paint, so it's kind of difficult to get all the correct color gradations, but I tried my best with it. And I for the structure of the painting, I used the waves and the shoreline to create a triangle, kind of like a funnel, to try to create depth and perspective. And in addition to that, I tried to knock back the saturation of the color in the background. But it was kind of difficult because the coast is like kind of curved there, so it was hard to get that like the curve to really produce. So, and I think I might have made the people a little too large in contrast to like the rocks and stuff. But I mean, it is what it is. And yeah, I just tried to really create a feeling of nature in the moment and how like time just passes and nothing's forever and you just get to enjoy everything you can in a moment, you know. And I have I like wrote a paragraph, a few paragraphs about it more in detail about like how I use color and form and other things to make this painting work. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Muy bien. We have a big bunch of artists in this class. Muy bien, muy bien. So Yuri, would you like to go next? Yuri, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can go. I don't know how stable my internet connection is though right now.
Vale. Sorry. Can you see it? We don't see you. I don't, at least. She's gone, right? Okay. Okay, let's try somebody else in the meantime.
I can go.
Who says I can go?
Emily.
Okay. Wait. Because you sent me PDFs, you sent me Google Docs, you sent me videos, so I need to check where I have.
I can bring it up if that's easier.
I have it here, but you can share if you want to. Do you prefer to share?
Let me just see. Yeah, I can do it.
Vale.
Hi. Sorry, she just wanted to say hi real quick. Say hi.
Hola.
Hi.
Hi.
Wait, Judy's back.
It's saying host disabled screen sharing.
Oh, wait. Try now.
Okay, cool. So I did. You guys hear me? Yeah. I did an art house like Felicia did. Mine's a little different this time. I focused pretty much on Spanish artists solely. I did also include Goya in there as well. I know it just says Dali, Picasso, and Velázquez. And the reason was it was kind of cheesy and metaphorical, but representing how Spain feels like a home to me now, and focusing on aspects of it that kind of resonate with me now. So in my house, I would include, first of all, some sculpture. So the drawers of a female figure from Dali's A Burning Giraffe. I have an enlarged picture later in the slides, but this is what I would include as kind of one of my drawers for the house. And it comes from Dali's sort of surrealist interpretation of a struggle that he has in his personal life, but that's kind of irrelevant here. It's an interesting sculpture. From the African Mask, this is not taken from Picasso, but it's influenced from Picasso's own artwork, kind of his African period, that I thought was really interesting. And then the spinning wheel, obviously, we know comes from Velázquez painting The Spinners. So this is the influence from the African period in Picasso, and this is the enlarged photo of the drawers from The Burning Giraffe. Next up, I also have Mae West's Sopa that was also featured in Felicia's presentation. And there's also an interesting kind of sculpture that comes from Velázquez painting The Water Cellar of Seville. And I kind of fell in love with the texture and thought that would be an interesting accompaniment to my house. And lastly, we have Picasso's still life guitar that obviously would have to be recreated in a tangible format, but I love guitar and I love Picasso, so those two kind of went together. This is just an enlarged photo of Philip Sofa, which I can't remember the man's name that commissioned the art piece, but it was in some famous guy's house. And then I also have themed rooms and additions. So the first would be the modern blue room taken from the painting by Picasso called the Blue Room. Obviously this is much more modern and updated than his, but I also prefer his more. This would be the Cubist room, again influenced by Picasso. And then we have Goya's Black Room, which is influenced by his black paintings that he had in his house in his later years. And finally, we have the art room that we can create our own masterpiece with, because we're all aspiring artists. That's it. Thank you.
Muy bien. Vale. Judy, do you want to try again?
Yes, I will.
Venga. Let's
Oh
see.
no. It just gave me a notification that said my internet connection is unstable, so I don't know how this will go.
Wait. I don't know why it won't allow me. Okay.
It won't let you pull my presentation up.
Yeah.
Perfect, there we go. So for mine, I chose to do just a monograph of different paintings, and for my topic, I chose to do dogs in art throughout history. And so I kind of broke it down into sections how we did it in class, and then instead of starting with Romanesque and Gothic, I combined those two into medieval art because it was kind of hard to find some from that specific time period because a lot of them didn't have real dates / they were just kind of not from a very specific period. So I just made that into one big medieval art, and then I have a couple of paintings from that in the next two slides. So this one here is the depiction of the she-wolf, and this is one that was really, really common, and I found a lot of them, but I liked this one because it depicts a popular, I think, French folktale, and basically here in the story is the burial of this virgin princess who bore the twin sons of the god Mars, and so they killed her, and his sons Romulus and Remus are found here in the background next to this she-wolf. And basically the story goes that the boys were raised by this she-wolf after their mother was killed and after they were deserted by the rest of their family. And then here in this painting, there was a lot of aristocratic dogs, I called them, and this here is supposed to be Sir Lancelot from the Knights of the Round Table, and here he's talking to a woman who has a little dog on her lap, and this was also a very common feature from this time period. And then next, I chose to go with Renaissance art, just like we did in class, and I have a couple paintings from that. Here we have a painting by the famous artist Jacopo Bazzano, and he was very known for painting dogs, and this painting here on the left is a famous painting called Two Hunting Dogs Tied to a Tree Stump, which is in the Louvre in Paris. And that was the exact dog that you see here in this painting that is in the Prado Museum, which a lot of us saw when we were there. And Tintoretto thought it was just such a unique and original dog that he copied it and put it in his painting in front of center. And then for the next one, here we have another painting by Bassano, who put a lot of dogs in just a lot of different paintings, and I thought it was interesting because this is a very religious painting depicting the Magi presenting their gifts to Jesus, but in it he included 4 different dogs. Actually, just the one circle just has 2 here in the bottom right corner, and then a small one in the bottom right corner that you can barely see. But all in all, he included 4 dogs in that picture, even though it didn't really play a huge role in the painting itself. And then for Baroque art, we have Velázquez, of course, because he is the master of this time period and of painting. And so I chose a couple of different paintings that he did because he also included a lot of dogs in his work. So the next 3 slides just have some of those. Here we have a painting of the infant Baltasar Carlos as a hunter, and his dog is there looking really sleepy. And Velázquez painted dogs of all different kinds. So here we have a bigger dog, really sleepy, not really doing much in the painting. But then in the next painting, we find a much smaller dog who's really interested in this scene of when Joseph's bloody coat was presented to his father Jacob for a religious painting. And then finally, of course, we have the dog from Las Meninas, and he's probably one of the most famous dogs out there. And then to finish it off, I just included a lot of different dogs to kind of show the wide range and kind of the big role that they play in art. So here we have 2 paintings of small dogs. Then this one is different and a lot newer, not a painting. I know, the only one here in this presentation that's not a painting, but I had to include it. And then this one is a painting of all dogs with no humans whatsoever, and I personally really like that one. And then abstract dogs, we have this painting here, and then I think finally the next one is the very last one. We have Goya's dog, who's maybe even more famous than the Las Meninas dog. And that is the end of my presentation.
Muy bien. Interesting
Thank you.
approach. Muy bien. Good job. Who goes next?
I can.
Who said again?
Brianna.
Okay. I think I have your video, right?
I sent it to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the link you can pull up. But I'll say a little bit about it first.
Okay.
So I chose to do the like my personal rendition of my Granada experience. And when I saw that one, I knew it was perfect because I've always been like very artistic and painted a lot, but I felt like since I started college, I wasn't really making that a priority or putting, the time that I wanted into it. But in Granada, I realized that when I got back, I really needed to make that something that I invest more time into. And so I felt like this was a good way to get started on that. And so I decided to do an oil painting. But I made my first ever TikTok in order to show you guys just a little bit of the process. And so I think she's going to play that.
Muy bien.
And oil paint takes forever to dry, so it's not finished at all. I actually have it here. But yeah, she'll play the video.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Sí, vale.
And I have to talk really fast in it. Don't make fun of me.
Everyone, this is my favorite place in Granada where we studied abroad, and it inspired me to do an oil painting. First, I gessoed over an old charcoal drawing that I didn't like, plus I needed a canvas size. I changed out of my quarantine clothes into my paint shirt. Then I needed to speed up the process, so I blow dried it, which I don't think you should do, but let's be honest, I'm an artist, so I procrastinated a bit. I decided to do this alla prima, which means I started from no sketch. I did an outline of the parts of the landscape, then added some base color, then went in, added some basic detail, and started on the background a bit. And there you can see, coffee break. I started doing this scratchy thing just to get some of the texture in the grass that I wasn't getting with a brush. This is where I am now, but the painting is nowhere near done. I expect to be working on it for a few months just to get it right. Oil paint takes a really long time to dry and work with, so stay tuned.
So yeah, it's like I said, it's not done. I would like to keep working on it, just because it is something that I want to keep around even more than just for this project. But this is it so far. I've been focusing more on this side, and now I kind of need to work on this and like the background. I don't know if you guys know, but along the Paseo de los Tristes, I think is what it's called. And then you cross a bridge and just follow up the mountain, like really until you can't anymore. I just kind of stumbled upon that view and I thought it was beautiful and I really wanted to recreate it. And I felt like oil paint was the only way that I could really get it right. So that's that.
Muy bien. Anyone for next? Lexi, you want to go next? Vale.
Sure.
Do you want to share or do you want me to share it for you?
I can share it.
Vale.
Let's see. Okay. Sorry, my Wi-Fi is awful. But so I did an artist for everything, but I took it as I picked a different artist for each thing. So I'll explain why I made those decisions. So what artist would I most like to have coffee with? I decided that would be Salvador Dalí because I think there's something very interesting going on in his brain. Like the conversations in a coffee shop can be deep or they can be shallow, but it's just a good place that you can just talk with someone for hours. And I think talking with Salvador Dalí would be very interesting because he had a lot of different viewpoints, especially in immortality and the third dimension. And so that would be something that would be really interesting to talk about. So which artist would I most like to go on a date with? I said young Pablo Picasso, which he would be good for one date. Not a relationship, obviously, because he is a ladies' man, but he was known to be very charismatic and romantic, so I think he would be great for just one date. And what artist would I like to share an apartment with? I said Frida Kahlo because she was known to be like the life of a party, and she was very bubbly and it's fun to talk to and hang out with. And just judging by what her house looked like, if you've never seen it, it's bright blue, and I think she would decorate our apartment beautifully, and it would just be a fun environment to live in. Which artist would I start a new business with? I said Velázquez because I think his attention to detail and his knowledge would be a perfect thing for a business partner because he was a perfectionist and always wanted to make sure everything got done correctly. What artist would I have a crush on? So I know he's not a Spanish artist, but I said Banksy because I like the mystery of not knowing who he is. I find it really interesting, like he could be anyone. So that's something that I find intriguing. And then what artist most like I said, because I think he had a lot of points and he was made to state his opinion, especially with his artwork. And I found it very interesting that he had like beef with the Catholic Church. And I think that would be something that would be really interesting to pull out in an interview where you can just ask him whatever questions you'd like. Okay, that's all I've got.
Muy bien. It's on the top.
How to turn off. There it is.
Bueno, we have 2 more presentations. It's Heather's, Alexis, and Maya's, and then Dylan's. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I still didn't go either.
And Ian and Sarah Jean. Okay. Okay, yeah, you're right. So 4 more. Then I think it's better, even if it's for a short amount of time, if we disconnect and reconnect again, because we only have like 7 minutes and I don't want to be rushing anyone. In the meantime, Heather, I don't think I have anything from you. So if you can work it out how to share.
I was with Alexis.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I shared it for all 3 of us.
Yeah, perfect, sorry. Then we're fine. I'll see you in a second. So, Alexis, Maya, and Heather, you're together, right?
Yes, I can share it if you'd like.
Perfecto. Then we'll do Jean's, then Ian's, and then Dylan. Okay? Can you work it out? Sí.
Can everyone see it? Okay. I'll start. So we did the Tinder assignment where you take 2 pictures from different artists, different time periods, and connect them. So we titled it Tinder, but make it 17th century.
We chose Philip for the Prince Philip, and he was painted by Velázquez. And I don't know, I really like this because it really, like, Velázquez was like known for showing how they kind of were, and especially since he painted him throughout the years. This one, I think he was around 56 in this painting, which looks pretty good for 56. And I just like the, I don't know if it's armor he's in, but it shows how rich he is, how excellent he is, and that's just what you want in a person. You want someone that's wealthy, and he shows all of this. So he was a perfect match. And handsome, yes. He was very handsome.
Okay, so the woman that we chose for our Tinder match, her real, full name is really long. It's Doña Maria de Pilar Teresa Cayetana de Silva Alvarez de Toledo, 13th Duchess of Alba. So we just kind of shortened it on there because we didn't think that would fit. And we chose her. She was painted by Francisco de Goya, and we thought that was fitting just because Goya kind of looked up to Velázquez. So we thought that would be a good thing to match a Velázquez and a Goya portrait together. And this woman in particular is actually Goya's biggest muse. So there's a couple different paintings of her that he's done, and people think that she's actually the woman that he painted in The Woman Who's Desnuda, like the nude painting of her. But the face doesn't match, but people still think the silhouette is hers. And the relationship between Maria and Goya was thought to be one of like the most romantic love affairs in the history of Spanish art. So it just seemed fitting to use her as part of like the Tinder profile since she was very well known in Goya's artwork. That's Maria.
So it's a match. Philip and Maria have matched on Tinder. And when we selected these two characters, we wanted to pick individuals who played important roles in the artist's careers. So Velázquez being the court painter for Philip, and Goya, who was a court painter for Charles, although he didn't have the best relationship with them. And so we wanted to pick the Duchess because he has a lot of paintings of her. And like Maya said, they had what was considered one of the most romantic relationships or love stories. And so looking specifically at some different portraits of Philip, usually the relationship between the court painter and the king or queen was solely professional, but some historians and research shows that Velázquez and Philip might have had a relationship that was more of a friendship. So Velázquez being hosted at court. And some historians say that Velázquez even played an important role in influencing some of the decisions that Philip made politically. So seeing the pictures that we know Velázquez painted of the royal family of Philip, it can be inferred that he thought of them pretty highly, and there was a general like positive relationship between the painter and the family. And for the Duchess, with Goya, he did not have that kind of a relationship with the royal family, but this Duchess is someone who appeared in a lot of his paintings. These two pictures specifically, the one on the left, the dog, she's actually pointing to his signature, like inscription on the painting. And in the picture to the right, you can't really tell, but she's wearing a ring with the names Goya and Alba on it, and she's pointing to Goya's signature below her foot. So that kind of, it shows a little bit more of the type of relationship that we had. So putting the Duchess together with Philip, we figured that it was kind of a perfect love match because these are, there are portraits of these characters who were pretty respected by their artists, and these are paintings generally of them in their prime. Philip, you know, young, handsome, same with the Duchess, who was actually widowed at a very young age. So that is it.
Muy bien. Okay. Good job. Sergin, are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you sharing? You said you had a painting ready?
Yeah, I have it right here. I can just show it.
Vale.
So the project that I did was to do a painting with a hidden meaning. And this is my painting. It's hard to see the detail unless I like bring it close. So before I did it, I tried to think of some lessons that I've learned throughout my life and even through studying abroad, just to kind of pick the message that I wanted to portray. So I decided on speak your mind and how it's important to formulate your own opinion. So this is what came out of that idea that I wanted to demonstrate. And what it really represents to me is that it's so important to formulate your own opinions and come up with your own ideas, because the outside world is always going to try to influence you and project their opinions onto you. And the only way to move forward and create new things is to be creative and to come up with new ideas. So the hands in the painting, I don't know if you can really see this at all, they represent other people, and the outside kind of like the hand is like latching on to the bottom of the jaw, like trying to creep into the mouth. And inside the mouth I have flowers and swirly blue lines, and that kind of represents your creativity and your new opinions that are important to form. And then up here I have this hand kind of grasping all of that creativity from inside the mouth. And the purple swirly lines kind of goes along with the hands of the outside, and it's kind of like it has black long pointy fingernails, and it kind of is a little darker. So before I did my paint, I did a couple sketches first, and my first sketch was in the middle of the painting. There was a head filled with, I have the sketch, I can show you. So this was my first sketch. I don't know, this is huge, I don't even, yeah, it was like a head in the middle, and then I did another sketch, and I decided that the mouth, speaking your mind and coming to these conclusions, was what I wanted for my focal point. And I used acrylic paint and watercolor paint. So I did the swirls and the flowers in watercolor, and then the hands and the mouth in acrylic paint. And I cut out the inside of the mouth so that the hands and the teeth are actually in front of it. So it's a separate piece of paper that I like glued on the back. So yeah, this painting represents just being creative and voicing your opinions. And that's something I kind of learned through my time abroad. So yeah, that's my project.
Muy bien. As I said, quite a few artists in the class. Ian, do you want to go next?
Sure thing.
You want to share, or do you want me to?
I will share it here so I can control it going back and forth.
Dylan, you're next, and I think that's it. Tim?
Cool. All right, so this is right here. So for my project, I did the kind of photo collage option there, but instead of making a story or a comic, I created this collection I call the Art Plus Art Equals Better Art Gallery. It's a collection of a few pieces that basically the thought process behind this is that if two paintings are good together, they should be even better, and kind of makes some very notable improvements on many of the masterpieces that we've studied in class here. Just real quick, here's an overview of the 4 pieces of the gallery. I will be examining each of these with a short analysis in turn. First of all, we got right here, this is The Bigger Tragedy by Francisco Goya and Pablo Picasso. As you can see, it's better than either of the 2 paintings that comprise it, Saturn Devouring His Son and Pablo Picasso's The Tragedy. Because, you know, I was looking at Picasso's Tragedy and I was thinking, this isn't all that sad. Sure, it's blue. Sure, they're all, you know, standing around by the ocean looking all sad and melancholy, but life isn't that bad. So just to make this painting a little more emotionally impactful, I replaced the wife with Saturn devouring his son. So now it appears as if the man and his son are watching helplessly, mournfully, as the Titan devours someone in front of their very eyes. Could be a friend or family member, but now they really have something to be sad about there. And note how the signature palette of Picasso's blue period really brings out the melancholy in the eyes of Saturn himself as he's devouring his son. That is an expression of fear that's an expression of sorrow and guilt even. And it's pretty interesting how those two elements intermingle when put in a new context like that. My second piece here is see, it's called Drowning Incompetent Kings. This is a combination of two Goya pieces, of course. Now, Goya, he's famous for his political commentary when painting the one of his most famous masterpieces, The Family of Charles IV. He, put the queen in the center. Everyone's kind of looking in different directions, kind of evokes instability and just subtly hinting at the inadequacy of the ruling bodies. But I thought, all that subtlety could kind of go over some people's heads. So why not make the message very more clear and understandable? So I've replaced, I've placed Charles IV and his son Ferdinand VII from the painting The Family of Charles IV right into Goya's later painting Drowning Dog. So you can see there's no more misunderstandings of Goya's political commentaries. They're drowning in a very minimalist flood there. Hence, obviously, it's a better painting. You're welcome, Goya. Let's see what else we got here. This is a piece I like to call The Persistence of Diego Velázquez. So as you know, for this, my inspiration for this painting was, how in Las Meninas, many people believe this was Velázquez's attempt to just flex harder than he ever has before, just to show off that he's unparalleled in his mastery of painting. And so I placed it into The Persistence of Memory by Dali to kind of use Dali's experimental surrealism just to drive home the point that just as time itself is eternal and persists on, so does Diego Velázquez. As you can see, his warped self-portrait taken from Las Meninas has replaced the kind of carcass on the ground of Dali's piece. Note the warped Infanta Margarita leaning up on, hanging over that tree over there on the left, as well as the king and queen staring not only from a third plane placed behind the observer, but actually from another plane of existence in Dali's surrealist kind of style. They're kind of peeking in from another dimension or something. So obviously the surreal elements of Dali's work make Velázquez's attempt at preserving his legacy, they make it even more distinctive and memorable. So as you can see, it's a better painting than either Las Meninas or The Persistence of Time, clearly. And my final piece here for the gallery is entitled The Feast of Guernica. So this is obviously a combination of Pablo Picasso's Guernica and Velázquez's The Feast of Bacchus. For this one, Guernica is highly regarded as one of the most striking, horrifying portrayals of the brutality and senseless violence of war. That's pretty good, but it's a little depressing when you think about it. So to improve that, I put it in this. I took the elements from Guernica and put it in The Feast of Bacchus, so that now they're just hanging out at a party, a cool wine feast, and instead of having their limbs torn off by the ravages of war, they're just kind of like throwing their hands in the air and having a good time. They're just like reaching for Bacchus to pass them some wine. The jarring light bulb is now kind of like a strobe light or like a black light or something, and it's just a much more wholesome, makes a more positive emotional impact with that piece. Obviously better than either of the original paintings. So that's my that's my gallery there. I had a lot of fun doing it, and yeah. I hope you enjoyed. that postmodern little review there.
I think the
Yes,
one
that's all I have.
the Drowning Queens could be applied to any prime minister of the world right now. Good job, muy bien. Dylan, should we finish with a few memes?
Sure. Why not?
You wanna share?
Can you share my screen?
Yeah. Wait a second.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Can you see? I don't know if it shows up on your screen.
Can you all see it? Yeah.
Good? Okay, so I did my project on some art memes that are related to the artists we studied in class. I tried to do a few for each artist. I hope they're not really silly, but the first one is of El Greco. We had learned that when El Greco was studying in Rome, under the trends of Michelangelo and styles and techniques, he talked very poorly of him, and a lot of Italian artists were very infuriated with him. So one example of him criticizing Michelangelo was him saying he can create Michelangelo's Last Judgment painting as good as Michelangelo did. And so I created this meme where El Greco is being carried away by some Italian artists out of Rome. So it's the first one. This is an art fight that never happened. On the right, we have El Greco, and on the left, we have Michelangelo. It's not an actual boxing fight, but we have some palettes and paintbrushes. So the next artist is Diego Velázquez. Initially, he wasn't allowed to paint for King Philip IV because the king had a court painter already. But when his court painter died, he was searching for a new court painter, and the king saw the talents and creativity that Velázquez possessed. So I made a meme of the king reeling in Velázquez. He wanted him to paint for him. This also has to do with Velázquez, with Pope Innocent X. He was initially didn't want Velázquez to paint for him, but after seeing Velázquez paint his servant, all of a sudden he's intrigued of what Velázquez could do, and so he has him paint some portraits for him. Many people criticized Velázquez for painting portraits, saying that that was the only thing he could do. So I created a meme where Velázquez is blocking, he's ignoring the criticism of the haters. Okay, Francisco Goya. He was a very honest painter. He painted the subjects just as they appeared. So I know he didn't really have a good relationship with the royal family. But here is a portrait of, it's called the Las Viejas. In English, I believe the title of the painting is Time and Old Woman. Represents the ugliness that comes with aging. And so the lady on the right is Queen Maria Luisa, I think. Maria Luisa. And you could see how all of her features are displayed. Like you could see her red puffy eyes, her wrinkled face, and her skinny body. He painted her just as she was. Pablo Picasso. There's a story that his life was saved due to cigar smoke. His uncle, when he was born, he wasn't breathing, and so his uncle, who was a doctor, decided to blow some cigar smoke into his nose, and baby Picasso started breathing and crying. And so here we have Picasso praising the cigar. Picasso also made some portraits, some Cubist portraits. And so have this portrait he made for this guy on the right, and the guy is really confused because it doesn't even look like him. And yeah, it's too abstract for him. This is the soft construction with boiled beans. I'm being literal here because I think it's funny, and so I replaced the main structure. I outlined it with actual boiled beans. It's kind of surreal. Here we have Salvador Dali. He was an artist who looked up towards Velázquez. He considered Velázquez to be a superior painter or a superior artist to all other artists. And people say that he was inspired to grow his mustache out because Velázquez did. And so we have Dali looking into a mirror, and what he sees is Velázquez himself. And then last but not least, we have Dali's starter pack. These are some of the recurring images that occur in many of his paintings. So we have some ants, eggs, clock, and a lobster. That's it.
Muy bien.
Thank you.
Good job. Bueno. I think we covered everyone. Am I right? See? Then I think it's everything from me. Anything again you want to ask? You want to talk or discuss or Tanya?
Is the final exam the same format as the midterm?
Mm-hmm. Oh. It's going to be very similar, connected to what we have been working in class, and the format is going to be pretty much identical.
Thank you.
Anything else? No? Okay. Then I guess the only thing left for me to say is goodbye, because this is our last class together. I'm quite emotional today. But it's really been my pleasure to be with you, and I hope you enjoyed it the same as I did. Thanks a million.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank
Love
you.
ya.
You've been great, really.
So much.
We
I really
appreciate
appreciate
it.
all the work you've done, and I know it hasn't been easy for you. So I do appreciate the work that you have been doing.
Thank you for making it like really fun and creative. Like this class was definitely my favorite.
Same.
And I have like a new appreciation for art now.
Thank you. And do continue doing all your great artworks. They were really, really good. Congratulations.
Yeah, I liked everyone's paintings.
Yeah, even the improvements, Ian.
Yeah, Ian, that was funny. I like the memes too.
Muy bien. So thanks a million again, and I guess I'll see you around. You know how to contact me, and I'm here.
Do you have an Instagram?
It's kind of boring, but I do. And my Instagram, and I have a Twitter that I use more. You can find me on Maria.
Okay.
Yeah, 29.
Do you create artwork yourself?
No,
Or
I'm
do you?
not that good. I'm quite appreciative, and but I tried. I really like it, but it's not for sharing.
I found you.
Mhm.
Okay, you guys. Thanks a million. I'm going to really, really miss you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.